I made my first bi-coastal trip to post-Trump America in mid-August of 2018. It's always an illuminating journey given how India mimics an American trajectory in media, business and politics. Of course, we lag behind by a decade or two. Today, it's spooky how similarly charged India's and America's political atmosphere is. President Donald Trump and Prime Minister Narendra Modi, hugely dissimilar personalities in outward conduct. One writes crude tweets, the other remains strategically silent, have nonetheless created equally polarized democracies 10,000 miles apart. Both have fanatical followers who blithely spew hate and intimidate adversaries. Even mild critics are branded as traitors. Either you are a lackey or an enemy. Immigrants and minorities are chained to fear. Both leaders beat big chests, claiming credit for everything from high economic growth to skyrocketing stock markets to cleansing the previous regime's muck and draining the capital's swamp. And what about their attitude towards independent news platforms? Just ban these anti-national purveyors of lies and fake news. But unlike our Craven surrender in India, I saw real spunk in how America's news outfits are fighting back against Trump. Justice with Judge Jeanine is a weekend show broadcast on Fox News. I watched her utterly partisan show on Robert Mueller, who is unrelentingly investigating President Trump. She virtually called him a mafia man. She ended the diatribe by saying that Mueller was panicking because he had nothing on Trump. Now, no journalistic evidence was cited, no facts were produced, just a grand unsubstantiated observation was made. Mueller is panicking, and repeated to somehow convert it into the truth. Next morning, I switched to CNN. Brian Stelter's Reliable Sources was on air. Now, he audaciously plucked the Mueller is panicking clip from Fox News and inserted it into his CNN show. And then Stelter went after Pirro for manufacturing the news that Mueller was panicking. It was a straight one-on-one reprisal. In the same show, Stelter also cut into a clip from NBC's Meet the Press with Rudy Giuliani, where the Trump groupie made the eye-rubbing assertion. Yes, he actually said that truth isn't truth. Truth isn't truth. This was clearly the new normal in our staid world of news. The professional restraint of a bygone era, thou shalt not comment on a competitor's news story, had been jettisoned. Perhaps there's a lesson here for India's fast dwindling pack of credible and honorable news editors. It's perhaps time to shed the old world professional reticence when our desi, our local Jeanine Pirros manufacture news. For example, when they go ballistic against Rahul Gandhi for speaking an unpalatable truth in London that it is very dangerous in the 21st century to exclude people.
If you don't give people a vision in the 21st century, somebody else will give them one. And that is the real risk of excluding large numbers of people from our development processes. Every country faces this risk. And that vision might not be a vision that is good for you or good for the world.
Now, he made the rather obvious causality that joblessness, economic deprivation and political exclusion feed into extremism and violence. Rahul also said in another context that Indian men are patriarchal and treat women unfairly.
It is literally the way the Indian male views the woman. He has to start viewing her as an equal. He has to start viewing her with respect. He has to start treating her with respect. And I'm sorry to say that he doesn't.
How can anybody disagree with these axioms? But of course, our desi, that is our local Jeanine Pirros, took off, accusing Rahul of insulting Indian Muslims, insulting Indian culture. The artillery fire ended with the very predictable pro-Pakistan taunt. Once again, a grand, unsubstantiated observation was repeated and repeated and repeated to somehow convert it into the truth. But did any of India's credible news anchors dare to call out these editorial renegades? Straight, one-on-one, like Brian Stelter of CNN took down Jeanine Pirro of Fox News? No, sir. None of them did anything like that. So, perhaps the time has come for India's editor Arjuns to have a conversation with Lord Krishna on New Delhi's battlefield, which is likely to go somewhat like this. Now, this is India's editor Arjun saying, "My Lord Madhusudan, I am surrounded by evil, compromised professionals who utter lies and falsehoods. But how do I fight them? My hands shake while holding the bow. After all, these editorial corals are my professional cousins." And Lord Krishna shall reply, "Hey Arjuns, this is a holy war of the righteous, and every soldier journalist gets a stairway to editorial heaven. So stand up and fight with peace in your soul." There is a little postscript here now. Dear viewer, please quote, tweet and tag India's Bhakt TV anchors with this video. Perhaps that shall stir our dead conscience.